Hey guys, what's up? So, a lot of you have asked for information on my implant journey, and it's been a long time since I have really made a post or a video about what I went through, and I've realized that there's a lot of you newcomers to your dental implant journey, and I think it's time that I give you guys an update on my implant journey and how it started, why it started, and where I am, and how happy I am about it. So, to get to the chase, basically, I started out my implant journey when I was 27 years old, and it started out because all of my teeth were completely deteriorated, and I was constantly in pain and having abscesses every other week. And it was just crazy the amount of amoxicillin and stuff that I was ingesting to try to get the infection to go away. My teeth were super bad because of an enamel deficiency that I had basically my whole life. I had the worst teeth out of all the siblings in my family, and a lot of it stemmed from issues that I really don't know about. With that being said, I definitely had some bad habits in taking care of my teeth. From a young age, I drank a lot of soda, like a lot of soda. I wasn't even really familiar with what water was because I didn't like water and I didn't drink water. If it didn't have sugar in it, I went thirsty. My oral hygiene was not at all what it should have been. I would probably brush like once a day at best, and there was often times where I would go a week or longer, especially in my preteen years, without brushing my teeth. At a really young age, I got RSV, and I was hospitalized because of it, and I ended up with lifelong lung issues because of it, and I took a lot of oral prednisone, which was probably not great to be going on my teeth. And I took a lot of breathing treatments, and I took them around the clock. So I was constantly inhaling albuterol through a nebulizer mask, so it was constantly just medication passing along my teeth. So at a young age, my enamel broke down really quick and became really thin. And basically, anytime I went to the dentist, it was fillings on fillings on fillings. And when I would get fillings, they would not last. They wouldn't hold in because there wasn't much enamel to actually bond to. Everything was just being bonded to dentin, which is not a really good application for any sort of composite filling to adhere. I did get amalgam fillings on some molars when I was younger, and those held up really well because they expand into the tooth. So they held in for quite a while, but over time the teeth eventually fractured from the expansion, and the amalgam filling would be lost shortly after I lost a corner of one of my teeth. Basically, in my teenage years, it started getting pretty bad, and I wasn't understanding why I was having such a problem with keeping my dental work in check. I would constantly lose it. And it was basically in my early teenage years that we found out that I actually had been suffering with acid reflux basically my whole life, undiagnosed, and the acid was coming up and wearing at everything in my mouth. And on top of it, I had bruxism, also known as grinding or clenching, which I wasn't aware was a problem. I just thought it was normal to clench or grind, and I did it especially loud in my sleep, which I would find out from, my parents or my brother. And the combination of acid reflux and grinding is crazy. I don't know the number, but it's something like 200% more catastrophic on your teeth than just one or the other. So it's a scary combination to have and live with. I never had night guards because it was always a concern from my doctors as opposed to the dentist that because of my asthma and my inability to actually breathe well through my nose all the time, that it could complicate my breathing condition. So mouth guards were always a big no-no for me. So I went without a mouth guard, and I was not aware that there was any other options to help with the bruxism, like muscle relaxant injections like Botox, or clenching exercises. There's definitely things you can do to cut down on the grinding, but I didn't know any better. I wasn't informed, and on top of it, we never had great insurance. There was 4 of us kids growing up together at the same time. My parents were constantly working around the clock, and money was just always tight. So there wasn't a lot of options for us at the time. Fast forward to me being about 17, 18 years old. I lost any and all insurance that I had as far as dental went and as far as medical went. I was trying to get my foot in the real world and working really hard. Actually, being a locksmith was one of my very first job choices that I did, and I was doing that when I was 17 and a half years old. Basically, I was living paycheck to paycheck, like a lot of you are still currently right now, and I could not afford to have any dental work done. So I would end up with cavities from fillings that would just fall off of my teeth, left untreated, and they would become larger and larger, and eventually they would turn into an abscess because the pulp chamber would get exposed, and I would get severe pain, and then bacteria would get down inside the pulp chamber, and lo and behold, an abscess would form, and my face would just blow up, and it sucked, and it was scary. And I remember the first time that I could not get the pain to go away was really frightening, and that was my first extraction, and I had to get it extracted because there was no money for a crown, let alone a root canal, so it had to go. So $300 later, something like that, I had my first lower molar extracted, and at that point it was made clear that I had a lot of decay and caries, which are like in my case it was class 5 cavities, which are basically cavities that form at the gum line of your teeth, and there's really thin enamel there, and it's not the strongest enamel, and anything that was getting filled right in that area would fall out and get worse, so bonding didn't help at all. I basically was told I needed a mouthful of crowns at 18 years old, and that was not realistic. So moving on again, I started having more extractions because I would just play it out and wait until my teeth got so bad that I would go in and get extractions. Extractions became quite literally my best friend because that was all I could afford. And at the time, my dentist felt really bad for my condition, and he was charging me like 99 bucks for a while to do these extractions, and he hated doing the extractions because I was such a young man, and it was sad to see someone at my age losing all these teeth, but I was not your typical case. And eventually, he couldn't keep doing it, so he started charging full price again, 300 bucks, and basically was just trying to push me away because he didn't want to be the one doing it anymore. So I eventually got to the point where I would just deal with the pain, take, Norcos, Tylenol, Advil, like around the clock to try to dull the pain, and I would find that as long as I kept carbonated water, something that, no oxygen, on my teeth, it would kind of take away the pain immediately. So I would sip on carbonated beverages throughout the entire day to keep the pain dull. And it got to the point where I stopped fighting the pain, but then started fighting the infections around the clock. So I was getting abscesses like crazy, and my entire face would swell up, my neck would swell up. It was really some scary stuff, and the pressure from the abscesses, that stuff doesn't get treated very well by, even narcotics. That pain is hard to get rid of until the abscess is going away. So I was taking amoxicillin, clindamycin, I think it was Zithromax, like around the clock, all the time, for weeks, for months, fighting this stuff. And it was hard. it was really hard on me. It was hard on my body. It was hard on my mental. It was hard on everything. Got to the point where I couldn't eat. I was eating maybe once a day, and I would have to prepare for the meal, and I couldn't eat about 90% of what every other person can eat. So I would just kind of scavenge through my plate, and I would be in horrible pain, like horrible pain from eating, and it was typically the onset of another abscess. I got really tired of being in pain all the time. I got tired of weighing under 120 pounds because my nutrition was complete crap because I could not take in or chew up the food that I needed to be consuming. I was living basically off junk food because junk food was the only thing that you can really find that's soft and plentiful and can kind of make you feel full. So yeah, and that was obviously not good for my teeth. It got to the point where it looked like I was doing meth. It looked straight up like I was just a complete full-blown meth head. Mind you, I've never touched meth in my entire life, but that's the first thing people would think when I would open my mouth to talk. They would think that I was a drug addict and nothing else. They wouldn't even consider the idea of me having enamel deficiencies and fighting cavities, decay my whole life, not having insurance, people that have no idea about how expensive dental work is. People, in my case, we don't break a tooth and then go to the dentist. We experience what's called the domino effect. And that is simply where when one tooth begins to fail, there's another one not far behind that fails. So by the time you go to the dentist, you have a dozen different teeth that need restored, and you get hit with the idea of a treatment plan that costs like $10,000 or more. You can't do it. You can barely afford to live week to week on paychecks. So it got to the point where I wasn't talking very much anymore. I was very ashamed of my mouth. I couldn't get respect from people. I felt like an embarrassment in how I represented my family, my children. It was hard. It was hard getting jobs because of the automatic assumption that I was a drug user. It wasn't something that was pleasant to look at, and I refused to smile anymore. I wouldn't smile in any of my pictures. And that was really sad because it was like I had a few kids, and looking back at these pictures with me and my newborn babies, you couldn't tell how happy I really was because I had to hide it because I was so ashamed of what I was going through. And it finally got to the point where I was 26 years old that I said, dude, like, I've got to do something about this. Like, enough is enough. So I started doing some really extensive research online, like on Google, on YouTube, on Facebook, at like what my choices really were. And what it came down to was I was going to need some sort of full mouth extractions and something like a denture, or going into implants and bridges. And when I started to look at the price tag on implants and bridges, it was like, no, man, you're going to have to settle for dentures. You're going to be a 20-something-year-old kid with dentures, and that's really hard to accept. But I was tired of not being able to smile. I was tired of not being able to eat. I was tired of fighting off pain and infection. I was tired of turning down meals, hard-cooked meals, because I couldn't eat them. I was sick of watching other people enjoy food while all I could do was enjoy looking at it. I got tired of going to the dentist and them not wanting to give me antibiotics because they're overprescribed. I was having to ask people on the streets for antibiotics. It was embarrassing as hell. Making phone calls all the time. Hey, do you have any extra antibiotics? Do you have these laying around? I couldn't afford to go to like Rapid Care or the emergency room to even try to get antibiotics because I didn't have any sort of insurance, and half the time they didn't want to give them to you because they're overprescribed, which is just ridiculous. It's not like I was going in there asking for painkillers. So I started reaching out on Facebook groups, and people were like, look, dude, like, we need to have x-rays, we need to have something to kind of see what the extent the damage really is, because I was posting pictures of my actual teeth. And someone who doesn't understand dental from the doctor point of view is there's a lot more than what we can see with our eyes that is going on in the mouth. So I didn't understand why it was so important to have x-rays done, but eventually I got to the point where it was like, I gotta go and get some x-rays done. So I went to the dentist who had pulled the majority of my teeth and was like, hey dude, look, I need to get some x-rays and I'd like to get, you know, a treatment plan, a consultation done at the same time. And he was all for it. So I got my x-rays taken, everything was bad. He came and sat down and basically just made me feel like a piece of crap for where my mouth ended up. And his famous line was, when you win the lottery, you can come back and see me. He was never there to really help me unless I had the money. Even though he knew how rapidly my mouth had been deteriorating for years, he wasn't going to help me or put me into some sort of a treatment plan that he had that was going to be financially affordable, make payments, yada, yada, yada. It was, when you win the lottery, you come back, okay? That's your only hope. You know that, right? When you win the lottery. Like, that shit ruined me. It destroyed my hope. So he ended up writing me up a treatment plan and told me, you know, look, here's what I can do for $5,000. I can take out your upper teeth and I can put you into a traditional denture. It'll be a really nice denture. And I was just like, $5,000 for a denture, and you're gonna leave me with rotten teeth in the bottom of my mouth that I can't eat with still? Like, it didn't make sense to me. So I took my x-rays and I ran. I got online and I started sending out x-rays, trying to get input for a consultation. And most of these places that wanted to work with me were overseas or out of country. A lot of them were like Mexico, Turkey, India, Romania, all over the place, and everywhere besides the United States, basically. And they were coming back saying that, you know, they could do dentures, they could do a bunch of root canals and crowns. But it was like, these people didn't understand my life story and how dental work didn't stick and everything failed, and I was not the most fit orally person to have root canals and crowns and expect that to be like a lifelong solution. So I obviously wouldn't go with those choices, and they were still expensive. And then it kind of became talking about implants again, and oh, well, we can help you with implants and we can make them affordable. So I started getting quotes for, you know, implants from all these different people, and I really didn't know what was going on or what to think about it, because my understanding of implants initially was, you know, all on four, was this fixed system. So I thought that that's what all implants basically were. I didn't understand that there's like mini implants, that there's snap-on abutments, that there's just a standard way of placing implants as opposed to like an all-on X, which is a very specific way the implants are placed to support a full arc of teeth. There was a lot I didn't know. You know, there's basal implants, there's traditional endosteel implants, there's zygomatic implants, pterygoid implants, and it goes on. So most of these places were quoting me for basal implants and like really weird branded implants, cement retained, prosthesis. So basically, once they put the teeth in, they're not supposed to be removed or easily removed, so it's really hard to have any sort of cleanings done or hygiene upkeep done. If the bridge breaks, it's a pain in the ass to get it replaced. The implants, especially basal implants, like, they have a horrible, horrible success rate. And a lot of people pay a lot of money for these basal implants, given like hopes and dreams of like a cheap, easy fix for their life, and then they have to go back to their home country and have to pay way more money to have them removed and have all of the bone regrafted and have the proper treatment done, because they don't last and they cause a lot of issues. So I was getting really scary stuff coming at me, and it kind of put me on the back burner again, like, what am I doing here? So implants kind of went on the back burner. I didn't want to mess with it. They seemed like more trouble than good. And I finally settled on like, all right, man, let's do these dentures. Like, let's get these rotten teeth out. Like, I'm afraid of getting a super bad infection. I'm afraid of dying. Like, I can't live like this anymore. I had a friend who I used to relate to a lot with putting my dental work off, because of my kids. Like, I'd rather see my kids have good toys and good food and just basically any excuse to not save that money for me to treat my dental. He ended up in the emergency room and almost lost his life because of an infection from a tooth that spread down into his throat. And he had to have an emergency procedure. And that really was the tip of the iceberg. It was like, dude, you can't keep putting this off. Like, you cannot keep putting it off. So I found some people in Mexico that were like, I live in California, by the way, so getting to Mexico didn't seem like it was going to be the most difficult thing. And they quoted me like $2,000, under $2,000, I don't know, something like that, to pull all my teeth and give me full set of dentures, which seemed a hell of a lot better than the $5,000 that I was quoted by my home dentist. So I was game. I was going to do it. So as the time came closer to go down and see this clinic, I had a couple other dentists reach out to me and be like, hey, we're a little concerned about the clinic you're going to. Like, they don't have very good reviews. A lot of the reviews are fake. Like, concerned about your well-being. Just try and reach out to some other people and, see what you can find out about this clinic. Well, I could not find any really good things about this clinic, which made me really nervous. And I was really having trouble at this time getting like a passport because it was never something I thought I was going to need. I didn't even know where my social security card was. I was in the middle of one of the hardest chapters of my life. I was going through a separation with the mother of my children. And I lost my home business that I was operating. Like, I lost the roof that was over my head. Like, I lost everything. So trying to come up with where a social security card or anything was to try to apply for a passport. Mind you, this was all during the big COVID outbreak phase. So getting stuff done took an extremely long time frame because people were not working, or limited people were working, or everything was backed up. So I was beginning to face trying to travel into Mexico and get back without having a passport and having to worry about getting stuck. So that really sucked, considering that. So back to the Facebook drawing board. I had a member on there in a dental group I was in refer me to Better Life Dentistry, which is a clinic based out of Fresno, California, which is about like 4.5 hours from where I live. And I was really hesitant because no one in the States could really offer me the help I needed with the financial situation that I was in. But I went ahead and I kind of looked up the clinic and saw that it was ran by Ryan Dunlop. And I started doing some research on Ryan Dunlop, and he had an extraordinary background in what he did and his education, and just he had a lot going for him, a lot of stuff online. There's podcasts and some really great information. He was definitely an outstanding oral surgeon, and that kind of made me feel good and bad because I was like, here, I'm going to be in someone's really good hands. It's going to probably cost me. Like, I'm not going to be able to afford someone that's this good at what they do. So I was really hesitant, and I ended up messaging Ryan directly and was like, hey dude, look, I was referred to you, like, I heard you might be able to help me out. Here's my situation. Here's a little bit of my backstory. Have you heard about this clinic in Mexico? I'm gonna probably go to this clinic because I'm really desperate. Like, I am afraid of dying from infection. I don't have the money for any of the normal costs of getting this type of stuff done, and Ryan messaged me back and let me know that he did not know anything about this clinic. He didn't have anything negative to say about the clinic. But he also let me know at that same time that he has fixed a lot of bad work that has come out of overseas and Mexico that was false promises to people, and people thought they were getting the best of the best, and you get what you pay for, essentially, type of thing. And he had to fix a lot of problems, and he was definitely a really compassionate man. Something that I have found is really hard to find in the dental industry. With that being said, he was like, look, dude, why don't you come down and get a consultation in my office? And I was really hesitant about it because I called another oral surgeon that was kind of close to where I lived, and they wanted $600 for a consultation. And he told me it was going to be free. He goes, consultations are free. So I was like, okay, like, I can probably come down and get a consultation. I was like, I'm basically just looking to get my teeth extracted and get put into a denture. And this is all I have to work with. And he was like, look, we will find a way to work with you. Come down, let's get a consultation so we can really see what's going on. Because I was like, hey, look, I've got some x-rays. And he's like, yeah, but we need to do like real x-rays. We need to clinically see what's going on. We need to do like a cone beam, all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, cool, dude, you know what? Like, you're making time for me. Like, it was a big deal. So I went down to Fresno in February, and I had my consultation with Ryan Dunlop and the amazing staff over there. And it was the first time I went into a dental office and did not feel like I was being judged. Teeth. Not feel like they thought I was an addict, or they didn't think that I was a bad person. Like, they treated me like I was a normal individual, which was something I had not experienced in quite a long time from anybody. So I could tell there was compassionism in the office, which was a huge turn on for me. And everything turned out great. They took x-rays, they took pictures of my teeth, and they were like, look, yeah, like, we have a treatment plan for you. We're going to digitally design you some dentures. Like, we'll get your teeth extracted. We'll put you to sleep. Like, mind you, most of my teeth were, like, sheared off at the gum line. So my extractions were mostly going to be traumatic extractions, regardless of how you cut it. Definitely not the easiest extractions in the world to perform. So it's something most people aren't going to want to be awake for. If you still have, like, most of your teeth, like, above the gum line, like, absolutely, like, local injections, and you'll be fine. But he also let me know at that time, like, hey, I run this thing called Full Arc Masters, and it was actually the guy that referred me over there was a Full Arc Master, and essentially, these are top oral surgeons around the country that want to further their education and further their training and specialize in implants, and they take on some of the most complex cases that other people turn away, and they teach other head doctors how to do outstanding work and teach them new techniques and how to make things affordable and how to have better success rates and how to make the treatment planning easier and better for the doctor and the patient. And he basically said, hey, I can get you into this course, and I can get you into implants at a discounted rate, like at a good rate. And we'll find a way to make it work. And so I was like, hell yes. Like, I am down. Let's do this. So I went in about a week later, and I had all my teeth extracted, except for like 5 on the bottom. And they gave me a full upper denture, and they gave me a lower partial denture. And the reason for doing that was so that I didn't have like that walking around denture on the bottom. It would still be easy for me to eat food. And I was so happy when I woke up from surgery and I had a set of teeth in my mouth. I was, yeah, that was probably one of the best days of my life aside from seeing my children born. And I just remember being able to constantly smile at that point, and I was so in love with the dentures that I wasn't even thinking about the implants, honestly. Like, I was happy as hell with my dentures. Well, a few months went by, and they said, "Hey, dude, like, it's May, like, we're ready to do your surgery." So I went in and I had my implants placed in Fresno at Better Life Dentistry, and I got 12 implants, 6 on the top, 6 on the bottom. The way that they were placed specifically was an all-on X treatment. In this case, it would be the all-on 6. And it was just because of what bone I had available. And it was crazy. It was awesome. Like, I woke up, I got my teeth screwed in. They put me to sleep for that one as well, which was awesome for me. And I was there for quite a while because, like I said, this was a full arc master training course, so they're really taking the time to explain and do things with these doctors, to really make an understanding happen. So it wasn't like my treatment took extra long because there was complications or they didn't know what was going on. I was being used as a teaching model, basically, which I was totally cool with. And I woke up with a set of teeth, and it was crazy. It was so awesome. I could not believe that I had a full set of teeth and they were stuck, in my head. I couldn't take them out. So I was really happy about that. And by the way, when I had my dentures, I slept with them in. I only took my dentures out to clean them and put them back in. I went 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wearing my dentures full time. I could not stand the feeling of not having teeth in my mouth. And on top of it, your TMJ, it's not good when it's going beyond its normal position. So when you have no teeth in your mouth, you put a lot of pressure on your TMJ, and you can cause issues. It's not usually as huge with people that have, that are edentulous, but it still poses a problem. You can still get TMJ issues. So I couldn't do it. I could not do no teeth in my mouth. So anyways, back to the implants. They were placed. I saw my x-rays. Like, it looked awesome. I've been studying placement and stuff for a while, so I could tell that they were placed really well. And I was really pleased with the surgery, and I immediately went to Jack in the Box afterwards and had a breakfast combo and ate pancakes and eggs and sausage, and it was awesome being able to eat and actually have pressure on your bite. I know a lot of people that go in for all on X, they don't experience what it's like to have dentures. A lot of people go from teeth directly into implants, so there's this big, like, miscorrelation or whatever you want to call it about how real things feel. People say, like, oh, I got the implants, they're great, but they're not as good as real teeth. Well, when you don't have teeth that work good enough, period, for so many years, you forget what the hell real teeth are and how they work and what it feels like to chew because you don't get to experience that shit. A lot of these people didn't go into a denture for any periods. They have no idea how hard it is to eat food with a denture, and how it does not feel the same, and how pressure doesn't get applied into the same areas. It doesn't really feel like you're chewing stuff. And if you don't use glue or bonding strips, or if the denture isn't like super fresh with a really good reline, you don't get this great suction, and you'll get rocking and tilting, you'll dislodge the denture when you eat. Like, it becomes frustrating as hell to enjoy a meal. So going into all the phases of having bad teeth, forgetting what real teeth are even like to chew on, having a denture to go, holy shit, this is what it's like, pardon my French, this is what it's like to eat, like with false teeth, this sucks. To having fixed teeth that have direct pressure into your jaw, it's like having real teeth. In my case, it's better than my real teeth ever were. I can eat and feel food better than I ever could with my real teeth. Like, I love my all-on 6 fixed bridges. Like, I wish I would have gotten them done so much sooner, just for the fact that I could eat. Since I've had my implants, I've actually put on 30 pounds. 30 pounds. I am the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life because I can actually eat food now. So it is wild at how bad teeth will really deteriorate your life. My mental health skyrocketed. I was in one of, like I said, the hardest chapters of my life dealing with a separation, dealing with not having like custody of my kids, not having a roof over my head, not having a job at the time, to being the happiest I had ever been, to starting to jog daily, which was something I never did. I went and got a job. Actually, I had 2 or 3 different jobs at once that wanted to hire me because like I aced my interviews with them. Like, things were going really good for me once I got my dental implants. So I never had any issues with my dental implants. It is March now of 2022, so I've had my implants for about a year now, and I'm still in the temporary phase of my implants. I've had a few different design changes done to my implants to change the shape of the teeth and to change the color of them. And I was definitely like, if I'm paying money to have a new set of teeth in my mouth, I want them to look super white. I was never able to have super white teeth. Everybody else got to whiten their teeth, and I didn't get to experience that, especially because I had tons of fillings in the front, and that stuff would not whiten, and the bleach was, I hated it. So I was like, I want that white smile. So you can tell that my teeth are definitely white. I never had to go through the wax try-in phase. I didn't have to go through the impression phase with putting impression material on my mouth. Like, I didn't have to use like facial jigs to get alignment done. Like, everything was done with full-on digital dentistry. They just did scans, they took x-rays, they imported it all on the computer, they designed my teeth in the computer. Like, I woke up same day of surgery with teeth. When I would come in for my adjustments or my new set of temporaries to be put in, they would just unscrew them and put the new ones in, adjust my occlusion a little bit, and it was done. Like, everything was done super well and efficiently through digital dentistry, which is why, like, I seriously suggest that wherever you guys go to get implants, make sure it's in-house. Make sure they're doing the lab in-house. Make sure it's digital dentistry. Like, skip the impressions. Skip the wax try-ins. Like, I see so many people that get frustrated in this journey of getting dental implants because they don't do their research. They don't do their research. They all get stuck on a price tag and how many implants they're getting, and is it fixed or is it not? It literally, if you start doing your homework, if you're doing your homework, these are the categories it comes down to. Cost, are you fixed, or are you snap-on? Do you have 4 implants, or do you have 6 implants? That is going to be 99% of what you're going to see determines what treatment someone gets. They have no idea about the occlusal, how it needs to be proper in relation to your TMJ. They have no idea about the placement of the implants need to be specific to avoid malocclusion or overbiting on one side or overloading on implants. They have no idea that the placement of the teeth will correlate to the relationship of your face and the geometry of your face from a sideways point of view. Like, they don't pay attention to a midline. If you guys start looking, especially at out of country work, you'll see the midline is way off, and you're like, what's the midline? It's the relationship from the middle of your face to your teeth. So your front teeth should line up directly with your lower teeth, and those should line up with the middle of your face. So you will see people's front teeth shifted slightly off to the side from their nose, or their upper teeth are nice and straight, and their bottom teeth are shifted one side or the other. The midline is not taken proper care of, and they're all things that are crucial. The bite is placed across different teeth. I've seen a lot of people complain about only being able to bite on 2 or 3 or 4 teeth. The entire load of your biting should be on your posterior teeth, on your molars. Like, you shouldn't be really biting with any of your anterior teeth. There shouldn't be load on the anterior teeth. They should be used only for, like, having to tear through food, and that's about it. Like, you shouldn't have load on those teeth. There's just so many factors that come into pre-planning and follow-up patient care that is so overlooked because people get hung up on getting a really good price, and then it comes down to the constant battle of snap-on teeth versus fixed retained teeth. For me, I never want to have to take my teeth out to clean them, period. I want to be able to brush my teeth like a regular person and use mouthwash, and that's basically it. You can floss underneath your fixed bridges, and you can also use like a water pick, but I have proven over and over and over again that I don't need a water pick to keep my bridges clean. There's a huge misconception that, oh, if you have fixed teeth, like, you're going to have to water pick every time you eat. Like, no, I eat 3+ meals a day, and I do not water pick at all. You learn how to swish. You become a master at swishing, and that's huge. So, yeah, oral hygiene. I can make a total different video about that, but oral hygiene is super easy to take care of with fixed teeth. I don't have to pull them out of my mouth. I never have to see myself without teeth. I have great facial structure. My bridges are fully replaceable. They're fully serviceable. They're not glued in place, so it's super hygienical in contrast to a cemented bridge because they can be removed and cleaned underneath. The implants can be cleaned very effectively versus cement retained bridges will not offer you that. There is nothing that I dislike about my decision to get all-on 6 fixed bridges, and that's exactly what it is. They are fixed bridges. They are not a denture. They are a fixed bridge. It is one whole solid bridge that is fixed into the mouth, and I am going back, I believe at the end of this month, could possibly be in April, and I'm going to get my final set of zirconia teeth put in place. I currently have acrylic on titanium bar, also known as PMMA, on a titanium bar. Mine's a gold anodized bar, and these are temporaries. They're often referred to as hybrids, and a lot of clinics around the world will tell you that, like, oh, these are a great restoration, like PMMA works great. PMMA sucks for a permanent restoration. It breaks easy, it stains easy, it absorbs odors easy. PMMA should never be used for anything other than a temporary bridge. But I love my temporary bridge. I eat a lot of food with my bridges. I have fractured part of my back bridge since I have had it. I believe I've had these for like 3 to 4 months now. I don't know, I guess I can show you guys my teeth. I'm super happy with them. My gum line everything is slightly pushed forward to give me more facial support. It also helps me with my speech, and I have a really tight fit between the bridge and my gums, so there's not excessive air passing through, which will also cause you speech issues, and it will also cause you an increase in oral hygiene because you're going to get a lot more debris and food underneath the bridges, which is going to require more frequent cleaning. So now you guys know how I ended up getting implants at a super young age, where I went to get my implants, why I chose to go there, what I think about dentures, what I think about bad teeth, the mental health, the physical health, my viewpoint on fixed permanent teeth, as well as kind of the hygiene that comes along with it. And that's basically it, you guys. I'm super happy with having fixed teeth. I would not change anything about having fixed teeth. Best decision I ever made. I wish I would have done it sooner, and it impacted me so positively that I am actually actively a dental assistant. I am in the program for that right now, and it's crazy that it's had such an impact on me from having my mouth restored. And I spend a lot of time here on dental implant discussions, basically treatment coordinating, if you would. I definitely refer a lot of people, not only to Better Life, but a few other clinics, and I am working directly with other clinics in and out of the country that provide case studies, that provide the work they do, how long they've been doing it, their credentials. They're actively following it up with like the AACD, you know, to make sure they can stay on being the best of the best. So my goal here on the group is to help you guys not only see that getting treatment is important and worthwhile, push you to get your journey going, help you the whole way through your journey, pre-op, post-op, healing, giving you criticism on what you should be, you know, looking for out of your teeth, whether it's the shape, the size, the color, issues you're having with them. Like, I'm here to support you guys the entire way through it, not only from a patient point of view, but an actual dental professional point of view. And I treatment coordinate. I help to get people into places that can get them treated. So I can't guarantee you guys are going to get the best price in the world. I know a lot of you guys have seen me talk in previous posts about some of the pricing that I did pay. But at the end of the day, like, every case is specific. There's special circumstances to every case. And the price that I got was out of extreme compassion that probably nobody else is really going to get a price like I paid on my stuff. And I'd really appreciate it if you guys don't just go to the clinic that I got my work from and tell them, like, hey, Solomon only paid this much, and, like, I want to get my teeth fixed for that much, because that's not how this works, you guys. Like, handouts aren't free. Like, you don't get treatment for what I got because I got it for that. Like, everyone has to pay to play, and at the end of the day, I am here to give you places that will financially help you, that will give you really great treatment quality and not give you complications. So that's what this is about. So don't expect to pay the best price possible if you ask me for a recommendation on a clinic, but expect to find someone that will work with you financially, period. Like, they will work with you. I had no credit at all, and I got my stuff taken care of. I got into a financial plan that allowed me to get the treatment that I needed. So if you guys have questions, you guys are always welcome to PM me on Facebook. You guys can ask questions on group. Like, I'm here for you the whole way, and I hope that this has helped some of you. I hope that this has helped to answer questions, and I'm going to continue to be here to oversee the group and make sure that everyone's getting, being heard, that there's not people being rude or discouraging. This is a support system here, and I really look forward to seeing more of you guys with a restored smile. I cannot express how much it means to me to see you guys before you go in to your journeys, and when I see you guys come out of your journeys. It is so awesome being a part of you guys having your life restored. Like, I don't think you understand how important it is to me, and I will continue to be here at the forefront and fight for you the entire way through to make sure that you guys get the best treatment you need at the best price you can get and the best quality that you guys can get. So that said, I'm going to be out, you guys. It was nice talking, and enjoy.